Hello Capricorn, welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Capricorn is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. It is totally free, doesn't cost anything to subscribe. If there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Capricorn, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. The magician, asking the question, what are we creating? What are we putting out into the world? What are we transmitting from spirit? Right? What are we building? What are you the architect of? Okay? I feel like you're very much in a creative zone right now. I think that you're realizing your ability to adapt and to be elastic and flexible and to be fluid and to kind of provide what the situation really needs from you. We're not so rigid in who we are that we're sort of resisting the needs of the environment. That you're in a situation now, and in order for it to really thrive, it needs something. How can we become that? How can we do our very best to grow and adapt and to evolve ourselves to be that something, right? Let's put this card into a little bit of context. The magician, the juggler, the trickster. We've got a Princess of Cups, got a Seven of Pentacles, Princess of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, and more Pentacles, Five of Pentacles. Surrounded by this earth energy. Okay, so this is the circumstances within which you find yourself. And you are the magician. And the magician's secret weapon right now, Capricorn, is love. All right, love. Using, applying the techniques of love, right, to whatever this situation is in order to transform it from, well, Seven of Pentacles, from not working, from being out of harmony, right, or dysfunctional, changing it, right, to bring it into harmony and alignment, to bring out its potential. What you need, if this is the landscape, this is the land, this is you, this is your relationship, this is your job, what do you need to do for this or with this in order to bring out the very best that it has to offer? Well, you need to apply love to it. Okay? And that's, you know, when you're cooking something or it's your garden or whatever, we got to apply love. And that's going to transform everything from, especially the Seven and the Five, going to transform it into something. Here's the Moon, here's the Queen of Pentacles, into a Ten of Cups, and the Seven of Swords. So it's going to transform it into its potential. Okay, the potential of the Princess of Pentacles is, of course, the Empress card, right? The Empress is sort of what's locked up in here. This is a dark, cold, barren, sterile landscape. It's the dead of winter. There's nothing growing here, right? It's all under the surface. And what you need to do is through your love, your devotion, your care, you're going to bring out the very best qualities of this. Okay, the Princess of Pentacles will become the Empress. Whatever your situation is, all right? Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here with Jimbo, the Lizard King, a.k.a. Mr. Lizard, right there on top. Now, we're not going to look at that card until the very end, but it will tie everything together and it will give us the confirmation that we need. All right. If at any point during this program you feel like you know what that card is, I want you to put your prediction down in the comments. Now, Let's look around the room. We see two major arcana energies. We see the Magician, and we see the Moon. The Moon here is about kind of a narrowing of the psychic aperture. Okay, and with a narrow aperture, what we're able to do is sort of, it defocuses what's going on right here around us and allows us to focus on the long term. Okay, it's allowing us to see that, yeah, we might be in a dark, scary forest right now of uncertainty, of fear, of discomfort, of unknown sort of, entities. We're uncomfortable where we are, but we can see that there's a long-term pathway. We can see into the distance, the other side, like what's beyond the dark, scary forest. And I think that is really you able to see the Ten of Cups, ultimate satisfaction and fulfillment. Over here, there's no water. Well, you've got to initiate that. You've got to bring that in, knowing that you may be in the dark, scary forest of uncertainty right now, but knowing that if you stay devoted and you cherish this and you nourish this and you give it everything that you've got, you're going to get this 10 of Cups on the other side. Okay? It's making it all worth it. So the Moon card, I think, is very important now that we're trying to defocus. We're not ignoring what's going on around us, but we're trying to defocus and instead do the long-term vision, right? It's kind of the opposite of my nearsightedness, right? If I take my glasses off, I can only see what's right around me. I can't see anything into the distance, right? This is sort of the opposite of that, okay? It's where what's going on around me, I can't really see so well, but what's long-term, that's what I'm going to focus on. Okay, I think that's very important. And that's allowing you then to realize that, okay, you know what? I can see into the future in a way. I know how this thing can turn out. I know what potential is here stored up inside of the Princess of Pentacles. You see the hint of it down here at the roots, the verdant energy, all the chlorophyll sort of goes out down into the roots, right? It's the dead of winter. It is an untapped potential here. But the Magician is saying, how can I bring out the very best potential of this? What tool does the Magician need to use? Well, it's love. It's devotion. It's care. It's concern. It's creativity. It's compassion. It's empathy. Okay. And we don't have any fire energy here. We're not trying to force anything. We're not trying to we're not trying to assert ourselves. We're not trying to just say, hey, this is what it is. And, we're not trying to bring any sort of conflict, right? We're doing the water, not the fire. Okay, so no fire. We've got water and water. We've got air, a little bit of air at the end there. And we've got, of course, our earth. There's a lot of earth energy. Okay, and we may be talking about a relationship. We may be talking about a project, an art form. Could be talking about a pet, a plant, a person, a job, a career, vocation, spiritual path. We could be talking about a stamp collection. We could be talking about you just trying to get through the end of this book you're reading. It could be anything at all. Anything at all. But the Seven of Pentacles is that's where we're at right now. We're seeing something not happening. Okay. This is when we're expecting something to succeed. We're sort of, well, let's look at it like this. If this is the potential, right? This has something in it that we're trying to achieve. We're either falling short with a 5 or we're shooting a little bit too far with a 7. We want to bring out the potential. We want that 6 right in the middle there. Maybe the mystery card will be that 6. This is kind of like you're aiming at the target, but you shot too short, right? And this is you overshot the target, okay? So it's kind of like we're just not able to figure out exactly how to do it, exactly what to do. We keep missing the mark, okay? So the things that we have been trying haven't necessarily been working. The Seven of Pentacles is that we've been failing to really bring out the potential here. The little f failures, right? And in some ways, this is kind of what we want. We want to be able to identify where the problem areas are. It's like you're a boss of a company. You're not just going to go around pointing out all your employees, pointing out what they're doing right. Oh, way to go on the phones. Good job on that report. Way to figure out the Excel formulas. I don't know how to do any of that. I was never good at Excel. But we go around, praising the positive things, praising the skills that people have and the accomplishments or the things that they do right. We need that. I think that's very, very good. Sometimes this card is about, we're identifying where the problem areas are. So we're not saying, hey, you did good on the phone, but we're saying, hey, next time can you, maybe be a little bit more upbeat on the phone and customer service or whatever, Can you do better next time, right? So how are we doing? What we're trying to do is bring out the potential of something. We're trying to help our employee to be the very best version in that role that they're in. Or we're trying to make the company as successful as possible. Do we do that by pointing out the flaws or by praising the positive qualities? Okay. Well, honestly, I think it's a little bit of both. Okay. But I think either way, whatever method you're using, I think it's very important that you find the flaws. That you're able to identify what is not working right or what needs to be improved and figure out how to implement those important changes, how to get the change from something needs improvement to, hey, okay, it's getting better. We got to do that with love and compassion and empathy and a little bit of love, right? If this was fire right here, right? Let's say we had a fire card right there, okay? Then it would be basically that we're being very abrasive with people and saying, this is how we're going to change. This is how we're going to improve. You either do it or you're gone, right? But doing it with love and compassion really kind of changes the game, right? It lets the other person know or lets yourself know or the situation, your pet, your plant, your person, whatever. It's an expression of your care and your concern. I think it changes the way we talk to people, changes the way we talk to ourselves. Rather than saying, hey, you need to do that, you need to do better at that. We're saying, how can I help you to make this easier for you, or make your job easier, or whatever. How do I give you what you need in order to you could tell I'm not a boss or a manager of anything, because I don't know the right words to use, but you get the idea, right? It's an expression of love and care and concern and compassion, and it really shows that you care about this thing and that you're not just like dictating and barking orders and demanding that things change in a favorable way. If you're trying to get somebody to do better, yourself, your dog, whatever, we could use the fiery tactic, but I think that you're going to see a lot more progress. Things are going to change in the right direction when we use love and compassion. We talk to people with respect and with care in a personal way, like we are truly there with them and that we care about them. And that's how you get the change that you want to see. Okay. And that change, of course, is the Five of Pentacles. This is the card of harmonious change, and this is what we want. Now, what we see is things are moving. Things are starting to shake, rattle, and roll here. And I think what this really is, we kind of see a similarity in the color scheme underneath the pentacles here. We see the light. We see some orange and browns and things starting to illuminate. So to me, it feels like we're starting to crack the surface of this, and we're starting to see someone really come out of their shell. We're starting to see the potential really slowly emerge from this, right? And of course, the Princess of Pentacles can be anything: the pet, the plant, the person, the situation, the company, the job, your own talents and skills. This could all be about ourselves, right? How do we get good at something? How do we improve at whatever we're doing? How do we get other people to improve? It's not through fire energy. It's through the love right now. It's through the compassion. It's through the care and the concern and making other people and ourselves feel like we are really there with them and that we care. Okay. And then we'll start to see, like I said, the things are going to start shaking and rattling and rolling. And the progress is going to start to break through the shell, the barrier, right? Like we're trying to get someone to sort of get better at their job, you know. And it's through this love, through this compassion, through this care and concern, and really being aware of how we're talking to people, we're going to see that, hey, they're starting to move on their own. That you don't have to move them, but it's through your love and your expression of love that they're going to start moving themselves. Sort of like you're motivating people to change their lives. You're motivating people to improve, to come out of their shell, to figure out what their limits are and how they can do better, because they want to do it. They feel like if you care about them, then they should care about them too. Yeah. It's very, very interesting energy here. It's all about the love right now. Yeah. Let's talk about the path of the serpent. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Right? It is free. The moon card here, right? Like I said, this is the dark, scary forest. This is the narrowing of the psychic aperture. So it's a defocusing on what is kind of defocusing on what the problem is. We're not emphasizing the problem. We're emphasizing the long term, like almost we're emphasizing the result that we want to see rather than the problems that are preventing the result. Okay, so if you're talking to another person, you're not just pointing out all their flaws, pointing out, well, you're not very good on the phone, and you're not very good with the spreadsheets or whatever, or you're too slow on your typing test or that kind of stuff. But you're saying, you know what, I believe in you, and I know that we can get your typing up to, you know, whatever it is, 55 words a minute or whatever people do. I don't know. But I feel like we're realizing what we need to emphasize and what we need to focus on in order to properly motivate either ourselves or other people, or maybe you're training your dog. I don't know. You know, it could be that you're training people at work. It could be that you've been put in charge of some department or some kind of training or something like this. Okay. But we're trying to recognize the bigger picture and not just focus on the individual problems, but the overall outcome that we're trying to get to. You know, the other side of the dark, scary forest, when we get through the whole thing and we get to that 10 of Cups, which is, to me, that the 10 of Cups is kind of a flawless energy, right? It's not literally flawless, but it's kind of saying that, look, this is beyond satisfactory, you know? I had a sort of corporate job for about 15 years, and so every once in a while you'd have these reviews, right? Well, maybe this is the review. It's the Queen of Pentacles looking at the past, right? You know, I think quarterly we used to have these reviews, or you'd meet with your manager and you'd fill out a form about how you felt you did that quarter. Were you performing well, or how could you have done better, and what do you think you improved on? How could you improve more, and blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, the supervisor would fill out that form too for you, right, or for me. So it's a self-assessment, and then they assess you as well, and you kind of compare notes. We're like, I thought I did really well, and they said, yeah, but you know, you didn't really meet your quota, or you know, even the more affirming things, you know, like find areas where I didn't think I did that well, but the supervisor would say, well, you know what, you actually from the quarter before you made some improvement. Like, look how, you know, you're going in the right direction. So this is really, really well. So it's a way to dispel some anxiety and some worry about our performance, or for someone else or whatever. By having this sort of periodic review of the progress that we've made, and I think this goes a long way just for us personally. You know, if we're sort of worried about where we are and our performance or our level of success or the progress that we're making or not making, and we have a tendency to see the sort of flaws and see the areas of concern where I'm not really doing so well, maybe it is important that we we do a retrospective, that we look back at the past and we see, you know what, I've come a long way. We look at the long and winding road that we've been on and say, from the time you started, right, you've made a lot of progress. We still got stuff to work on, yeah, but let's keep going, you know. And it's like that with a corporate job, too. I don't know what your employment history has been like, but with a corporate job, you know, we could be meeting all the metrics, that I've met all the goals. They want you to be a 10 out of 10 in every category. And you do that. I met the right quota, I made the right number of phone calls, and I didn't make any mistakes, and so I'm, you know, you got 10s across the board. But then your supervisor will still say, oh, that's great. How can we do better? How can we push ourselves a little bit further than that? And you say, well, I got 10s across the board, right? So why should I try to exceed that? You know, it's like the company has these standards. They want everybody to make, you know, 10 phone calls a day. Well, all right, I've been making 10 phone calls a day all quarter. I'm perfect. I'm not going to do any more work. I'm not going to do any less work. They'll always want you to do more work, right? They'll always try to motivate you to bump it up a notch. Well, maybe this quarter you can try to do 11 calls a day, or 12 or 15. A 10 is just an arbitrary number. 10 is just giving someone, you know, something to chase after. But once you get it, what do? You stop working hard, you stop trying, you stop motivating yourself. No, you sort of, you find something else to go after, right? You make it 11 phone calls, or, you know, you got to sell, you know, 2 cars every month or whatever. I don't know. I never did automobile sales, thankfully. So the Ten of Cups is in the position of what we're sort of not wanting, the energy we're sort of trying to avoid. And I think it really is trying to avoid satisfaction, trying to avoid being, I did good enough. I did what was expected of me, and that's it. I've achieved it, and that's as far as I'm going to go. And I don't think you're looking for that. I think you're trying to find a way to like say, okay, well, if I got the 10, let me go for the 11. Let me go for the 12. Let me keep working hard at it. And I'm not going to try to just maintain this level of like mediocrity, you know, or like just good enough, right? So I feel that you're kind of rejecting the 10 of Cups in a way, because we're not trying to reach this sort of artificial goal and then just be sort of complacent with it, right? In other words, there's no limit to the potential that's in here. And if we say, well, the potential is just going to be that 10 of Cups, if we're imposing a potential on ourselves or this person or whoever it is, you know, then it's kind of, it's sort of limiting that person. We're saying that there's only so far you can go. You're only so good. You know, so it's kind of a way of motivating somebody by letting them know that they can reach beyond what they think they're capable of. It's really about showing a kind of love and compassion and a real care, a real like interest in the other person, a real belief in them in a way. Yeah. The 7 of Swords as the final outcome here, I think it really does boil down to how we're communicating. And if we're communicating with love, if we're trying to base our magic here on love, we have to be very careful with how we're expressing that. And you know, I fumble with this every day on this channel, trying to find the right ways to express the unexpressible. How do you express love? How do you express a Princess of Cups here? How do you express a 10 of Cups or a 20 of Cups or a 1,000 of Cups? In a way that is not, in a way that's clear, in a way that doesn't seem too clinical, right? Sometimes it's just the very simplest answer. Sometimes we want to be as clear as possible, but sometimes a direct path is going to seem very clinical. It's going to seem very fiery or very blunt or very abrupt, right? And so this is the dilemma, I think, is how we communicate the love. We got to find new ways. This is kind of saying this, the Ace of Swords in the middle here is not the only way to express the love and the care and the concern here, because it feels kind of like maybe the way we've been communicating our wants, needs, desires, or our opinions or our objectives maybe has been very clear. Yeah, it's been very straightforward, but maybe too sharp. So maybe this card is about exploring some other pathways that we can find other ways to express, other ways to say what we need to say. That's going to convey more of this love. Okay, let's look at the mystery card. Six of Pentacles, Six of Cups, maybe the Empress, yeah. Bringing out the very best potential of this situation, whether it's a person, a place, or a thing. I would love to see the Empress here. If you have a prediction, please put it in the comments down below. Oh, yes. Yes, it is the Empress. Bringing out the very best potential. See, the verdant energy has returned. All of the life that we know is in here, here it is. Bringing out the very best in someone. And the thing about the Empress is that it's not an artificial limit. It's not saying you're as good as a 10 of Cups. No, it's a limitless potential. And the more we sort of, the more we connect with this thing, the more we put into it, the more it's going to grow, the bigger it's going to get, the greater it will be, the more potential will come out of it. There's no end. It's like one of those, it's like the magician with those scarves out of its sleeve. They just keep coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. Right? And this is that kind of love and affection. And if it's the love, really to me feels like a love of a parent for a child. You know, and I know it's maybe a weird dynamic to think of at the workplace. You know, I don't think this is a workplace thing for you, but that's the analogy that we're going with. But it really does feel like there is a willingness to sacrifice for this potential. The willingness of, let's say if a boss or something, owner of a company is willing to make sacrifices so that the employees can get what they need, can grow and become the best version of themselves, because in the end, that's going to make it better for the company, right? So it's kind of a servant leadership. It is a devotion. It is a self-sacrifice. It is a feeding into this. It's giving other people what they need so that they can be successful, because that's going to come back to us anyway. Okay? And that's something about the Empress there, that idea of sacrifice. The idea of being willing to give everything that I can, whatever it is that I can offer to help you succeed. I'm going to do that. Right? And that, to me, that kind of feels like the parent-child thing, where it's just like, it doesn't matter what my daughter needs. I'm going to do everything that I can and give up. I would give all the limbs of my body, right, to give her what she needs for her to fulfill her potential. Right? And so it is that kind of devotion, I think, here with you. And I don't know what your situation is exactly, but oh boy, this is a good confirmation. All right, this is love. The approach for you right now is all love. And we're going to do an extended reading. We'll do some oracle cards. We'll do an I Ching reading as well. There's a link in the corner. There's a link down below. New readings for Capricorn on Thursday and Sunday. I feel like you needed this bonus reading. Yeah. Be sure to watch both of your other readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.